future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. And today, we are one step closer to our dreams. A very good evening, everyone. It's a wonderful evening, and I warmly welcome all of you here today to the webinar on effective CV writing and interview skills, organized by the Career Guidance Unit of Faculty of Management and Finance in collaboration with the Rotary Club of University of Colombo, Faculty of Management and Finance. So this session today is put together with the intention to assist the fourth-year undergraduates and anyone else who's joining in today to creating a professional CV and presenting themselves confidently during the interviews. This will definitely help you all out for what next, the Career Expo that is to happen on the 13th of May. That is the next week, Friday, from 10 a.m. onwards at the Faculty of Management and Finance premises. So today's webinar will assist you to put together a strong CV and to attend the career fair to discuss your future career opportunities with the experts of the field. So without further ado, let me now invite and introduce the industry expert joining us this evening. So Mr. Prasad Udugampola has completed his primary education from St. Aloysius College, Galle, and he completed his BSc in Business Administration from University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. He holds diplomas of Human Resource Management from the Open University of Sri Lanka and the London Business School. And his MBA is from the Asia University of Management. And now he is the Chief Human Resource Officer at Siyaptha Finance PLC after gaining many experiences in the years of human resource. So before we move on to the session, I would like to give a small reminder to our participants about the Q&A session at the end of the discussion. So anyone here today, if you all have any of the questions, please feel free to drop your questions to the chat box so that Mr. Prasad can clarify any of your doubts. And on that note, let me hand over our session today to Mr. Prasad Udugampola for you all to know how to write an extraordinary CV and how to conduct yourself in an interview in a favorable manner. Over to you, Mr. Prasad.
Good evening, all. Thank you, Saree, for your kind introduction. And I think it's my privilege and pleasure to speak with you all today. And first of all, I would like to thank the management staff of University of Colombo, Faculty of Management, as well as the Career Guidance Unit, especially the team who always coordinate with you, Navinda, Mrs. Amita, Sandali, and Sashani. Thank you very much for your coordination and given me the opportunity for discuss this topic on effective CV writing as well as how we should face the interview. So in this session, I would like to say that rather than going for a more technical or theoretical things, we will discuss about more practical things as for HR professional, what actually we expect from the candidate, right? So I will start my session. And I think no need to introduce myself because Sashini has done a great job. So thank you again, Sashini, for the kind introduction. So I think it's a bit curious. I start with a countdown. What is this 9 seconds? And actually, today topic I want to talk about, not the theoretical one as I mentioned, that we want to think about how it can be take a different scenario. You know, whatever effort you put for your CV and how professionally or beautifully you draft your CV, when you, I think there's a background noise, Sandali, Sasini, can you?
Sure, sir, I'll look into it.
No problem. So, because as I mentioned, how professionally you prepared your CV, there will be only 9 seconds that recruiter or the employer will initially scan it. So within this 9 seconds, we should attract and we should get the attention of the recruiter employee for go to the next level. And on the other hand, I mentioned it as a game, right? Why I mention it this as this session as a 9-second game? Because we want, in a game, okay. In a game, there are big competition, and in a game you have to do a lot of training, you have to do a lot of practices, and you have to practice new techniques, as well as you have to understand the basic ground rules. The same thing now we are going to teach about how this will happen. I think everybody knows, can identify the fourth person in the picture. It's coming count from the left. Who's that? That is Usain Bolt, right? So this, I take it as a game and we'll go. The Usain Bolt is the fastest runner in the world, and he got the gold medal for just about 9 seconds. But for get the gold medal, he has practiced 9 years. So that is the commitment, that is the hard work he has served for achieve that his gold medal. So you have to think about, if you want to succeed in your career, that's the initial, we are starting about the first step of your professional life. How we can be succeeded within 9 seconds to start your career. So this 9-second game, I'm going to discuss with you what is the introduction of the CV, the purpose of writing CV, what is how the JD and JS will be help you to draft your CV, as well as the structure of CV, and the layout of the CVs, as well as do's and don'ts of the CV. We will share a few good examples with you, and there will be in theoretical word, we have the called, there's a bit different with the resume and CV. We'll discuss about that one also, more technical side, and how important the cover letter, as well as nowadays we are conducting a lot of the e-recruitments, because by considering the current pandemic and the post-pandemic situation, we are limited a lot of F2F. F2F means face-to-face interviews, but we are using the ATS or the e-recruitment models. So we will discuss how we can be successful with the recruitment models, and finally, how actually as a HR professional, what we are looking from the CV, and when you come to the interview, what are the aspects we are looking from the particular candidate. So we'll start that one. The curriculum vitae is the Latin word that signifies the course of life, and this is a document that you have to showcase yourself as your professional, personal, and all the academic qualifications, as well as your achievements. Then the CV is actually a summary of your skills, education, career history, as well as extracurricular activities and other information. I want to specially mention, CV has to reflect you. It should be that shows your skills, knowledge, education, as well as your potential. That when we get a CV, and if you selected for the next level, if you come for the final interview, that CV should reflect the same in the sense. That's why we want the very honest and the CV which reflect you. When you go in front of mirror, you can see yourself. Same thing what we want to show to our recruiter, that this is how the applicant would be. What is CV? The CV, as I mentioned, that is a document, shows your skill, work experience, achievement, qualifications, and your personal history, as well as then we send it to the employer, the recruiter. Then employer will review your CV and decide whether you should interview or not. That's why I'm telling you, within this 9 seconds, your CV should get the attention and of the recruiter, whether this candidate is worthwhile to have a discussion or not. Nowadays, we are not having the interviews. Actually, we are conducting discussions, right? So main purpose what's the purpose of writing a CV? As I repeatedly mentioning, this is a way we have to get the attention of the recruiter or the employee. And major purpose of writing CV is, as I mentioned, not to get a job. You have to get a clear idea. CV won't give you a job. CV gives you an opportunity to get an opportunity to face the interview. So this is the first hurdle of your professional career. So you have to think about that. If you are not doing your foundation correctly, you can't build your career building. So that is the why. That's why we want to highly emphasize you. The CV is give you a good leverage of your career. So as I again mentioning, CV, the purpose of your CV is not to get a job, but is to arrange for an interview, right? So you have to understand. And the other one, how your CV will be matched with the JD and JS. You know, the JD job description and the job specification of the job position, how actually you are competent and how you are skillful with that particular position. And on the other hand, that summarize your academic, professional qualification, experience, skills in order to obtain the positive attention of the recruiter. Mainly, CV should show that you are the perfect candidate and you are the best candidate for particular position, right? So I will go for a small thing, the JD and JS. As you all know, the job description and the job specification. JD describe the person, JS or the job specification mention about the job, describe about the job. So you have to be mindful when you are developing or when you are drafting a CV, that your CV has to inline with the job specification and the job description. Otherwise, you can't just wild guess and you can just run around the bush, put in your CV, right? And the structure of a CV, the CV, we have few areas of the CV, the chapters of the CV. That's your contact information, personal statement, educational history, work experience, extracurricular activities and skills, and other your other achievements you have done, especially for the projects you involved in and voluntary experience and other areas you want to showcase for in line with that JD and JS. So first we go for personal contact information. That first you have to start your name and the professional job title. The other one, most important too, is your contact information. We are getting a lot of good CVs, but sometimes they have not correctly mentioned their email address and the phone number. Sometimes we are not in position to contact them because of these small mistakes. So don't try to copy and paste everything. When we'll discuss that one in later part. You have to be more careful about this area, because with this contact information of your the recruiter or the employee is contact you for further discussion. So this area is a crucial thing. Otherwise, though you are a more competent or capable person, you are not in position to get that job. The other one is mostly we are now looking for the other actors, especially LinkedIn or the Twitter or whatever. If you have your profiles, that also give all the added value for your CV. And main thing, your address. So the other one we want to discuss the personal statement. Personal statement is the summary statement. Summary statement for it's actually summary statement gives idea about the person who has having the work experience. That covers this summarize. When the recruiter or the employer gets your CV, first they will go with your objective statement, the summary statement, and it summarize your achievements and your skills and knowledge. Actually, that's a synopsis of your whole CV, right? The second thing actually from as you are freshers, so what you can do is you can do an objective statement that gives you that focus about the objectives, skills and education side, because you are not having the experience. But I will give you one hint. If you are having any internship or if you have any work experience, it's better to you to involve that you to include that one in your CV. When you come to the education and the your academic side, first you have to mention your highest education, whether you are getting MBA or if you have the PhD or masters or whatever, you have to start with that one. And the as is mentioned, the degree, university, if you have GPA number, then the time frame of the degree as well as the key subjects, right? If the space permits, you can more descriptive about your academic side. When you come to the work experience, though you don't have the work experience, but what I would like to mention, please specify your internship or the, as I mentioned, industrial placements, work experience, whatever you have, because it shows you are having not only the work academic qualifications, but also you are involved with the corporate world. That shows how you are in position to manage your work life as well as your corporate life. So that also gives you a better leverage for your CV. And when you are starting not only education but also in the work experience, you start with the latest one. When you're having when you're going for education, you have to start with the highest one. When you come for the experience, work experience, you will start the latest one, and then after you have to drill down the others, right? Like that way you have to draft your CV. The fifth one, we are talking about the skills. That there are two skills, you know, that normally we are talking about the hard skills and the soft skills. Hard skills are more with the technical skills. Soft skills are more with the human skills. Here, as a fresher, what we more expect from you is the hard skills. What are the technology or the platform you use it, the software you are familiar with, like that way, if you are having done any what you call any financial planning or the copywriting or project management, that will become to the hard skill. And soft skill is actually the communication, team management, and like that, the leadership skills, that also covers that one. And when you are writing, showing the skills, I think it's better to go for this Likert scale, that you can show this skill and competencies, and within the very short summarized form, you can show the skills from 1 to 10 or whatever the Likert scale you can use, and you have to show where you are positioning yourself, right? And main thing you have to mention about more focus about the hard skills, as well as you have to showcase yourself about your soft skills. Especially, you know that in the current scenario, you are get a lot of opportunity to involve it, showcase your leadership skills, communication skills, as well as team working skills. So please highlight those things in your CV. Other optional section is the thing where fill the bridge, such as that, as I mentioned you, the extracurricular activities you have done, the awards you have obtained, the projects you are involved in, and the other certificates. Not only the main subject or the academic thing or degree you are following, you have to mention about the other things, that because you know the current labor market is very competitive. The people who are not focusing about only the degree, we want the people who are multi-skills and who involve with different assignments, right? So that give you a leverage if you can highlight the certificates and other things. And language proficiency, if you are with your native language as well as any secondary language, either it can be Tamil or it can be Japanese, or in future sometimes it may be more important Chinese or whatever. So use those things and show that you are extraordinary than the other person. Why we are writing a CV? The purpose of that one is, you have to remember, within 9 seconds, we have to get the attraction and attention of the recruiter on your CV. And on the other hand, we have to always showcase ourselves. We are the best person, best out of best, who suits for the employees JD and JS. You have to always remember, when you are writing a CV, focus about the Sachin, I think there will be a small technical error. Can you hear me? Hear me?
Yes, we can. We can hear you, Mr.
Can you
Prasad.
see my presentation?
We can see you, but we can't see the presentation.
You can see. Then I have to again. Give me 1 minute.
Yeah, sure.
Can you see the presentation?
Yes, now we can see.
Okay, great. So I will go to the
Yes, sir.
skills. Okay. Yeah, I think we are on 6th slide. Am I correct? If I'm not mistaken. Okay. Here we are talking about you have to showcase yourself that you are the best person for particular position. And the most important, though you have the qualifications, competencies, skills, and attitudes which are required and which is expected by the particular job hunter, recruiter, or the employer, that you have to draft in a nice way where you are getting the attraction of that particular employer. So when you are writing a CV, that you have to mindful about, you have to use a format where it will be more familiar with the current recruitment process, because you know that we'll talk about the ATS and the e-recruitment models as well as here. Otherwise, if you are using a different formats, what will happen? The recruiter will take few seconds to identify and search for your skills and knowledge and the key areas what he is looking for. If you are using the format we are currently using in the professional or the corporate world, that will give a additional boost, and it will give more time to recruiter to dig your CV and give you more attention on your CV. So when you are writing a CV, please be mind, don't write short stories, because I repeatedly emphasize you that recruiter is having only 9 seconds he's spending. That is actually not this thing, because with the Harvard Business Review, we got this one as they have done a survey and they have do research nearly over 100,000 recruiters all over the world, and they have identified how long it will take to recruiter to select a person for the second interview. That's why we are mentioning with the 9 seconds is a crucial thing. That will be a game. So in the game, as I mentioned you, there's a lot of competition. So for that one, you have to get ready with all your knowledge, skills, and you have to use the latest techniques, and you have to know the ground rules, right? So length of the CV, maximum 3 pages. Don't go beyond that. If you go beyond that, that won't be a CV. That will be a short story. So try to maintain within 1 to 2 page. That will give you that good opportunity to recruiter to scan your CV and screen your CV. And margins, sorry about that. Margins, you have to use the 1 inch from each side and a line spacing 1 or 1.5 in between the text, right? The other one, font size, don't use the handwriting or the Comic Sans or like that. Use the professional font and use, and it has to be very readable. And don't club lot of things in your CV. It has to be very attractive, and you have to use all your experience, knowledge, and the skills, which will be eye-catching way. And font size, when you are using the for the body, please use 11 or 12. And when you're going for a headings or the subtitles, please use 14 or 16. That will be the normal accepted. I'm talking about the normal accepted format, which will be actually using not only locally but also globally. This is the latest thing we are using. And when you want to highlight achievements, don't write big statements. Please use bullet points, because bullet points attracts the person's the achievements. Otherwise, what will happen? We have to read that one. You have to remember, with the 9 seconds, we have to get the attention of our recruiter. And you have, within that 9 seconds, you have to show your course of life. It means what you have done during your, after the your secondary education, when you come to the tertiary education, what you have done in between that one. Because as you can't mention a lot of work experience, but within this time you have to use all your achievements and other things in the bullet point. That will be eye-catching for the recruiter. And here the layout of the series, the first one is for the experienced candidate. That is, we are using for the CV profile, then work experience, education, then hobbies and interests and extracurricular activities. Second one, for the students and who are having the freshers, we are looking for CV profile. Then after, you have to mention about your education. And if you have any work experience, please specify after the education, because in the internship or the freshers or the industrial placement, we are not much focused about the work experience. We are more focused about the education and their achievements, right? Key points of CV layout, students and non-experienced candidates, as I discussed with you. You have to mention your education qualifications, and you have to showcase your extracurricular activities or whatever your memberships or your other achievements after the education qualifications, right? So, and there will be a plus point for your CV if you have any hands-on experience with any technical or any projects or any activities, ERP systems or any other remote collaboration technical skills such as Google and Dropbox, like that. If you have that kind of technical skills or the system experience, that will be a plus point for your CV, because you know now currently we are using a lot of digitalization as well as automations in our departments as well as companies. So if you have hand-on experience on that one, that will be a plus point for you CV to recruiter think about. You are well above from the other candidates. And here we'll discuss about few don'ts and don'ts while you are writing CV. So if you are going too fast, you have to mention, because with the given time duration, I have to complete my presentation. So few do's you have to think. When you're writing a CV, please customize and keep update your resume every time, right? Don't cut and paste and send your CV to all the openings. What will happen? You won't get the attraction, and from the other way, you will be dissatisfied and you will be mentally upset. Okay, I am sending my CV to this much of open positions, but I didn't call for an interview. The reason behind this, a key reason, is because you are not customized and keep your resume update. Because we are from the, okay, on practical view, we are looking for person who's capable and competent enough to take that particular position. And always we want a person who's updated their CV with the latest, the achievements and other things. As I mentioned, sometimes we got a lot of CVs and they are very good CVs, but thing is, we are not going for a second stage because they are not customized their CV as we want, as well as sometimes they are sending very old CVs, and just it shows that you are not interested on that particular position. It shows that in the shape of same CV, you are sending CV, and you have to showcase, or you have to show especially your skills and highlight your achievements, because always we have to show that we are the best person out of the rest. So whatever possible way, we want to get that one. That's why I mentioned this is a game, this is a competition. You know how the labor market is now very competitive, right? We are getting very talented, skillful team. And okay, frankly, I'm telling, if I post a vacancy in or the social media or the whatever the recruitment platforms, I'm getting more than 150 to 200 CVs per particular CV. But so you have to be competent, and you have to showcase your strength, skills, at the achievements, as well as your qualifications to attract the recruiter attention. I am again telling, not to get the job, but to call for an interview. There is second step. We will discuss about how you can face the interview. But the first step, you have to through the first hurdle. And please focus your strengths and powerful words. Don't use traditional things, but same time I'll tell you, don't use jargons and other things, or the highly technical jargons and other words. But you have to use very strong words that you are proficient in the language, as well as you are having that talent and ability to perform the job. Highlight to specific achievements rather than explain every detail. That here you have only 1 or 2 pages and you have only 9 seconds. So don't go for every thing you want, what you have done. We have to specify according to the JD and JS, and we have to show us these are the things, my achievement. I am the best person for this position. As we have discussed this one, it should be not more than two pages, and make it so simple and readable. The other most important thing, sometimes they ask for referees, and as sometimes they are not, they are keep silent on that one. If you are giving referees, please update your referees that you are posted your CV for the particular position, and there may be, sometimes they may call you for get the reference. Sometimes we will got a lot of CVs. When we want to get the background review, but the referees don't know about that person particularly. So when you are giving the referee, please be mindful that we are normally looking for non-related referee, but when you are giving the referee, please keep update them. Okay, there may be a call from the particular job or the organization of job hunter. Please give the reference. Frankly, that's a practical thing. Tell him to give a positive response. Don't just put the referees who's not giving a response or who's not contactable, right? The last one, please check your spellings and grammar and prove again and again. It means go through your CV again and again. And when you go through a CV, you can identify, okay, what are the areas you can get rid of, what are the areas you can again include, or whether what are the areas you have to more highlight, as well as any mistakes you have done, or your contact numbers like that I mentioned. The other one, don'ts. When you talk about the don'ts, I'll read the same thing. Don't try to do it by yourself first time. If you're sending CV to first time, don't try to do it by yourself. Please draft your CV by yourself and check with the second eye. Ask somebody to check it, because you have to remember, you want to showcase yourself, and that's you. CV has to be mirror you. But if it's come to the recruiter straight away, if there are a lot of mistakes, if it's not reflecting yourself, that will be a problem. Then you won't get the second opportunity for face the interview. So first thing what you have to do, if you are doing your CV first time, please get checked by the second or the third person. Don't use jargons, clip arts, or related buzzwords, right? Because the recruiter or the employer don't have much time to go for those things, and they don't want to understand what is not clear to them. And be honest. You have to be yourself. Don't misrepresent your education or the work experience or your attitude or your skills or your knowledge, because you have to think about, if you get past this hurdle, you have to sit for the face-to-face or the online interview. At that time, if you are done anything under the carpet, if you are not reflecting yourself, that will be a disaster for you. Because if you done something or give some information not relevant to you, if the recruiter or the employer found that you have done it, you are not honored for him, or you are done cheating with him, so that will be not good for you, and that will not good for this time also, but it will not create opportunity for you to come for another time even. So you have to be mindful. Please be honest and mention true picture of you. And the CV, don't use information or the humor. This is the CV. Is not that's not the time you to be mention those things, right? And especially don't mention about the salary expectation and other things. Though especially asking for in your CV, mention it's negotiable. Don't mention I am expecting this month, I am expecting that part. First thing you have to mention, think that you want to get opportunity to get into the corporate world. Then after, with the experience, knowledge and your skills, you are getting opportunity to demand yourself. So first step will be just get into the job and get the hand-on experience, then improve your skills, knowledge and attitude, then you can go for a next level. So don't bother about the salary, or don't mention about the salary expectation until they ask for their face-to-face interview. And don't use dull formats and the layouts, and don't use the colored papers. Please use the black paper, white paper, with black font. Don't use colored other things, right? Because that will distract. Sometimes you may think, okay, that will be differentiate. No, that will be a distract of the recruiter. So use the format where will be very simple and that in a readable manner. And here also I want to mention, don't use any clip pads or other table or graph other than you want to summarize your skills and experience like that day, but not with the clip pads, but you have to be very professionally, you have to showcase your skills, knowledge and attitude. On the other hand, don't write gigantic or the too much about the objective statement. It has to be very summarized and it has to show yourself. And within few seconds, the recruiter should get an idea about, okay, this is the person I'm looking for. That's the aim of this session, and that's the aim of your CV. If you can showcase a lot of things, but if recruiter is not satisfied and if you are not presenting what is expected, that you will lose that opportunity. Main thing, as I mentioned here, don't put your all eggs in one basket. It means that don't apply for multiple positions, as well as don't mention everything in the CV. Mention what required and what you want to showcase yourself, as well as please mention the areas you want to more highlight, because this is the time you have to showcase that you are the best person and you are the most potential candidate and you are the most talented person who can take that responsibility, right? So don't put everything in the CV. Here are the few examples I want to share with you. That first CV you can see this very clustered and this not organized one. But when you go for the second one, you can see that it summarized a lot of things. When we see that one also, recruiter also get, okay, he at a glance he can screen and scan your CV, and he can easily get a good idea about yourself by seeing this CV. But the first time, that here system more time to search the required information. So it has to be nutshell you have to show your, and it has to be synopsis of you, right? The second one, you can see when you are, if you are attaching a photograph, please use this format. Otherwise, what will happen that your photograph will take a lot of space of your CV, and you have to go for a more and more pages. And if you are not attaching a photograph, you can see how you have to format your CV. The first one, when you compare the first one and second one, if I am recruiter, I will go for second one because it's very summarized one. With a snapshot, we can get his experience, knowledge and work experience, contact numbers, everything, because that will be a more crucial for recruiter or employer, because you have to remember there's a big competition and this is a game. A lot of CVs are getting for the particular position, and we should not spend, the recruiter should not spend too much time on CV. That will be a negative impact on your CV. And we'll summarize the key points, right? Make your CV at least 2 pages, edit and do the spell check, organize sections, subsections as we mentioned, personal information, then your career statements, then work experience, the academic qualifications, work experience, extracurricular activities, achievements like that. And pick the correct formats and the standard formats, as well as the margins and the letter spacing. The other one, you have to clearly mention the required skills and the competencies which you are having for particular job position, and mention about the college and the degree qualification, higher education or the achievements, as well as as I mentioned, place education immediately after the qualification summary. This is a bit technical or the theoretical side. I am talking about what is the difference between the resume and as well as the CV. But technically, there's no big difference, right? That when we come to the resume, you can see that's a one page. The CV is having 2 pages, and the resume highlights your professional and academic personal information. That this CV showcase your competencies, history and education and other things. And resume is more for when we come to the organization, that will be the for specific job listing. But when we come to the CV is for showcase yourself and sorry. And here I show you the resume actually using for American word is resume, that European use as CV. So there is not much difference, but when you come to the academic side, this is the difference. Some companies use as resume, some companies use as its CVs, right? The other more important thing, the crucial thing, some recruiters or the headhunters or whatever the employees asking for a cover letter, right? When they're asking for a cover letter, that will it will give you additional time or the ample space to again showcase yourself. So if they ask for a cover letter, right, it also summarized form of your CV, right? And then it will give you a second chance you to showcase yourself and highlight your skills, knowledge and abilities in other way. And as well as here you will get opportunity to state your the expectations as well as where you want to be. Normally we call it in management, you have I think you heard about Franklin Covey with 7 habits. He mentioned it's the most successful managers that he mentioned, start end in mind. When you are writing a CV, you have to think about where you want to position yourself. Dreaming that when you are writing a CV, dreaming that you are getting that position and you are working in that position like that. Then you will get opportunity that will give you a positive impact on your writing skills. That also, right? When you talk about the cover letter, that has a basic contact information, and you have to start with the salutation and opening part, and the middle part describe your skills, knowledge and attitudes, and close and then after the latter part, that one you have to show why you are the best person for that particular position. And please remember, if they are asking for a cover letter, you have to sign off and send it, right? The example I have mentioned here, the second one. And so according to Harvard Business Review, expert says, right, when you either it can be a cover letter or either it can be a CV, do your research first. Before you writing, you find more about the company, right? Because then you can understand what kind of business, what kind of working culture, what kind of market segments they are involved in. Because you have to remember, now you are going to start, or now you are going to step into the corporate ladder and focus in your future. That's why I mentioned you start in mind. Think about where you want to be and whether this particular job position will help you, your career expectation. And that your opening has to be very strong, because we normally telling the first impression gives you the first impression give you the leverage, and that gives the recruiter, the employer, the headhunter about yourself. So you have to start with a very good strong opening. And please emphasize your personal values, that because those are the things you can't include in the CV, and you have to keep. I want to keep repeatedly mention this one. Keep it short. Like CV, if you go for 2 pages, the cover page you can go for 2 to 3 pages. That has to be very short one. That's a synopsis of your work experience as well as the skills knowledge. Within 1 page you have to give to the recruiter. The other one, there are 2 ways of interviews. When you are forwarding a CV to the recruiter, there are 2 ways of we are searching the CVs. Sometimes you are physically selecting the one by one. We are going through all the CVs. Sometimes we are using the ATS. ATS means applicant tracking system, where automatically or the system select the person and give us the shortlisted applicants. So when you are using the if you have to remember whether you don't know whether they are using ATS or the e-recruitment system, or they are manually screen the CVs. So you have to think about, in any mood, I will be the best person that I want to highlight and showcase myself. So in ATS model, right, there are the keywords, especially the ATS systems are tracking the keywords such as skills, knowledge, as well as the academic qualifications, as well as the your experience. So please remember, when you are writing your CV, these key areas is a key and important area. Whether we are looking for a person in the electronic media, or whether it's doing the manually, that you have to get ready with your CV. The other one here, there's this sample because I am bit fast on my presentation due to timing. When the ATS model is like that creates a job, as well as the job when the job applicant has forwarded his CV, automatically they are selecting their CVs, and they have 3 areas: green, amber, and red. Normally green comes if there are a few questions. Sometimes we are using the recruitment system. Multiple questions you are asking, based on the question, the answers you are sending, they are selecting the persons for the interview. And the other one, as I mentioned, the keywords. The tracking system will track the keywords, and they will identify the potential candidates for the particular positions. Sometimes we got recently we advertised for the management training program for Siyaptha. We got 1,800 CVs, but we are having only 10 openings. So when we are using the ATS or the e-recruitment model, so that particular, if you are not following that standard formats, then there will be opportunity, or there will be a possibility you to miss out from that list, because you are not doing it manually. So you have to be keep mindful when you are writing your CV. Use the same format, and especially highlight the areas what they're expecting, right? And this e-recruitment model I already discussed, and e-recruitment model has the applicant tracking system, and sometimes it may be employee website or social medias and job brands and online testing. Those are the areas we are doing with the e-recruitment process. Okay, hopefully we believe and we trust the students in the faculty of management at the University of Colombo, that you are applied the position, and we know that you are more competent and qualified team. So you are called for an interview. So how we can face for the interview, right? The interview, actually, there are a lot of ways of conducting interviews. Sometimes we are conducting formal interviews. Sometimes we are conducting the structured interviews. So you have to remember, though it's a formal or informal or structured interview, you have to get ready with any kind of interview, and you have to be ready with that situation. The objective of the interview is, when we are looking for some person, we want to see whether that person is having the, especially you have to, we want to emphasize the potential. We are not looking for the person for particular portion. We are thinking about the whether that person is capable enough to take the more responsibilities and deliver more with his potential. So we always think about the potential employees, and especially in the bank and finance, we are more concerned about their employees' credibility, honesty, and transparency of their work, as well as from our point of the employer point, we are thinking about why we should employ or recruit or onboard this person, and what will be the business value or the value composition he can add for the company. That's the area mostly we covered with the structured or any kind of interview, right? When we are preparing for the interview, first thing, know yourself well. You may think about, okay, very stupid question, right? I know myself the what he's talking about. No, thing is, from our experience, when the somebody come for an interview, they are not well prepared. So you have to focus about, you have to rewrite your skills, knowledge, and whatever the academic qualifications, and you have to express your potential to the particular employer in very positive manner. So especially you have to analyze that the JD, and you have to inline your qualifications as well as your competencies align with that JD. And before go to the interview, please do a research on the company. As I mentioned, go to the web and identify the number of what kind of company, what kind of business they are involved with, and what's the current strengths, what are the challenges they are facing, what is the market segment they are involved with. That will give you additional value or extra mileage for your interview. When you showcase yourself that you have done a ground study and you have identified the business, as well as you have go through the company and you are well prepared. That's the plus point for that, because it shows your attitude. It means that positive attitude and your interest to get that position. And the most important thing, when you are attending for the interview, please get ready with your personal documents and the academic qualifications. Sometimes, as the current pandemic and post-pandemic situation, we are getting a lot of, we are obtaining your qualifications and academic qualification and work experience, your CVs through the software mode. But please take a hard copy with you. Sometimes it may be good for you to, if some clarification, you can show it then and there. And most important, your dress code. Please use professional business attire. Don't go casual anywhere. Don't think about how others dress. You have, because you want to showcase that you are the best out of best, and you have to showcase that you are the best person for particular position. And from the dress code, you can highlight the recruiter, the employer, that you are very keen about that position and you can add more value for that position, and you are more, you are having more professional attitude, as well as you are keen about this position. Most importantly, you have to be on time, at least before 10 to 15 minutes. When you are going to that particular organization or the institute, don't be panicked. You have to be politely greet the receptionist or the HR department, and please observe the culture. and you can get whether you have gone through the company website or not. Then by observing the that particular organization, how people move, and there's the culture is sometimes the language, the symbols also great, so you can understand the culture. Because if you have a cultural difference between your expectation and the company what you are applying for, then you can see how you can adapt that situation. Because your CV shows something, the company expects something, then you should be able to adapt to that situation, and you show that you are adaptable person, though that there's a cultural difference. So please observe how people talk and how people greet and what's the dress code, like that, right? And you have to be more positive and more confident with your attending. And when you go for an interview, when they ask for come for an interview, please be polite to everybody, and you have to always be positive, and you have to show that you are energetic and smile with everybody. Keep eye contact with everybody in the interview panel, and if they ask you to describe yourself, then start. Till that time, till they start the conversation, don't start or take the gun out. So when they ask the question, please listen carefully to the interview and understand what they're expecting, what they are talking, right? Make sure that you are answering to the question he's asking, rather than going around the bush. If you are not clear, please clarify it. There is no what you call any hard and fast rule. Okay, you have to just give an answer for that. If you are not clear, that then panel also be positive with you, because you are asking questions. Because here we want people who questions, or who's having any concerns. If they can clarify, that will be a good for them. And please relate your achievements and objectives, all the things with the job requirement, and that will be a second option, you to second chance you to showcase your educational and skills. As well as while we are having the discussion, please showcase your achievements, as well as the social activities, as well as the projects you involve in, right? Don't worry about the language. Start with the language they are starting. If they start with the native language or Sinhala, then start with Sinhala. If they are starting with the English language, start with English language. If you feel that you can continue your discussion in that language, don't worry, convert into your native language. There won't be any barrier or anything. So be comfortable and be cool. Don't be panicked during the interview. So sometimes they are throwing questions, or they are shooting the questions to you, see how you are facing the situation. So don't be panicked, don't be upset. So just we want to see how you are respond to that question, and how you take that question, right? And mainly we want to emphasize you, be yourself, be honest, and talk with the people, talk with the panel very frankly. Don't try to accelerate or showcase yourself that you are not having it. If you are selected by because you know that we are interviewing 10 to 15 minutes or maximum 20 minutes one candidate, we trust and believe that you are telling the truth, and you are giving the real information. If you are selected for that particular question, if you are not in position to deliver that one, that will be a real disaster and danger for your career, right? And as I mentioned you, there are two ways of interviews. One is the physical interview, the other one is the technical interview. So online interviews. most of the time we have several interview schedules going on. First in the after shortlisting the candidate, we are having the first interview. First interview we are doing on online. That can be Zoom or Team or like that day. But when you are doing the online interview, please test your devices. Sometimes you may not check your devices, and sometimes you may difficult to have the discuss with him or with the where their sounds are not working, their videos are not functioning, like that. And the other thing, most important, and if you are attending for the online interview, that the workplace has to be very calm and quiet, and you are free to express yourself, as well as please be mindful. Sometimes we are having the same experience. When we are on the video, from the background we can see there are all the personal things, so you have to focus yourself that you are interested for that particular position, and you are ready for that position, and you are professionally attend for that interview, right? And though it's a online interview, please dress professionally. Don't think about, okay, we are talking about they can see only half of me, like that. No, because online interviews, we on the research that we have done with our last 2 years experience, 80% of our candidates get rejected, not because of their qualification or the experience, but because of their lack of preparation. So think about all these things. First thing, the background and the location you are in, that has to be shows that you are interested and you are well prepared. Second thing, your dress code. Third thing, please check your devices whether it's correctly working or not. And the other thing, please the link and other things whether they are correctly working. After the interview, yes, you have to send a thanking note, because that gives you remind about you for that particular recruiter. And finally, we are talking, if one door closed, there are 10 doors opening. So don't worry about the missed opportunities or the buses you got missed. You get experience and think about that as a learning curve, and well prepared and get ready with the next opportunity, and then you can be more perfect on your application, right? As I mentioned you, within 9 seconds, Usain Bolt has won, and he got a gold medal. And within this 9-second game, what we want you to be the perfect person for that particular position, as well as we want you to be the best out of best, and you have to showcase in 2 ways. One from the your CV, the other one from your interview. So that's end of my discussion presentation. So anything you want to clarify? Is now we are okay to have a chat with your team. So Seshani.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Prasad, for sharing those tricks and tips on CV writing and interview skills. But I'm sure our audience must have their own doubts. So let's open the floor for the Q&A session. So anyone who have any doubts or any questions for Mr. Prasad, you can drop in the chat box. Now is your chance.
As Seshani mentioned, that language is not a barrier, and I am sorry about I'm a bit fast on my presentation, but the given time, because I have to manage the time, otherwise your team will be in a bit difficult situation. So yes, language is not a barrier. Please ask anything. You can ask for anything what I have presented, or anything beyond that. Yes, I'm ready to answer those queries.
So till we get the questions, a small reminder for all the participants. There is a link that's been uploaded on the chat box. You all can fill that out till the rest of the audience get their questions clarified. Do we have any questions in the chat box? You all can directly PM it to Mr. Prasad or add here to me. I can read it out. Yes, we have got one question. Mr. Prasad, they are requesting whether you are able to share any format or a template for a good CV. Maybe you can share it with Navinda or the organizing committee. We can share it with the participants.
Definitely, ma'am. Definitely, we'll share with you because that will be good for them. So we will share some few good formats where you can, because normally the Sampath Bank and we are using, because that caters not only the manual recruitment but also the ATS tracking system. So that will be cater both. So we'll share with you. And Sasini, I got another. Do we include our professional qualification like SIMA under the topic of education? Do we need to put under the different topics? It's like that. If you have professional qualification, that will be plus point for your CV. So you can mention it as professional qualification. That academic qualification and professional qualifications are two different. So mention first you have to mention your academic, then after differently mention about your professional qualification. That will be give you an additional weightage for your CV, because you have to remember, now this is the point you want to show that you are the best out of best and you are having the potential, you have the skills, knowledge and attitude than the other person. But here I am telling, do it, because you have to be selfish on this one, because don't think about others, don't try to be follow others, be yourself, be unique, and you have to showcase all the achievements and everything where you want to highlight, because you don't think that in the second time or the after this training sometimes you won't get opportunity to show that stuff, right? So don't miss the bus. Please mention academic qualification, the professional qualification separately. That will give you a separate. And is it okay if put my LinkedIn URL in the just perfectly? Because I'll tell you one thing. When we get the resumes, when we are shortlisting people, we are doing the reference check. With the first one is especially with the LinkedIn. Other one, we are going to your Facebooks, right? We are going for a Facebook, and we want to see how people are dealing it like that. But it won't give you a negative impact. But we will see what kind of engagement activities and how you're thinking. That also give you a give us a slight idea about what kind of person you are interviewing. Because you have to remember, as you are preparing for get prepared for preparing CVs and for the interview, from our side we also get prepared to interview you, because we are doing the background review of you as well as you are doing the background review of the company. So this is the two-way process, and here we want to make the win-win situation. We want to get the first person, and as well as we want to give a career enhancement with that particular patient. Especially I want to mention, we are looking for the potential employees, not the competent employees, right? We want to see the person who can take more responsibility, having the more capacity and the competency to take more responsibilities, right? So can you share the PPT? No worries, dear. This is not I am doing a lot of lecturing and the training. So I am very happy to share my presentation. I think they have recorded that. Yes, I will send you. I will include more slides for that one, and then after I'll share with your team. Then it will be, if it's a value addition, I'm sharing that one. No worries, dear. When we applying through the email, should we write cover letters to the email body? Should we include in the no? If you are applying through the emails, please mention it in email body. Don't attach, because you are sending two attachments. One is your resume or the CV, but your email body, you have to mention everything other than the attaching another attachment, because Normally, when email comes, our team is opening that email. Sometimes they may get lazy to open 2-3 attachments. So it's better you mention your cover letter in the email body. Okay. Anything? In the interviews, still happening, shake handing, things in that. Okay. Yes. Before the pandemic situation, normally we greet those people with the handshaking. But you have to remember, though it's a pandemic or the post-pandemic or the normal situation, when we're handshaking, do it in perfect way. Don't do it in lethargic way, right? That's why the first impression you have to show it. Your handshaking is very competent. I can't show there's no somebody. It has to be like that, right? Don't do it very dull way. When the first impression though you are having the good CV, whatever, if your first impression and giving the handshake with people are very lethargic, that will give you a negative impression on you. So do it very positive and confident way, right? And nowadays we are not doing, now we are doing like that day, or otherwise we are saying Aiboa, right? So be like amoeba. Try to adapt to any situation. If they are handshaking, just go ahead there. But you have to remember, after the interview, please use the sanitizer. Okay. And so how often does Sampath Bank have the interviews rounds? And okay, Sampath Bank and Siyaptha actually we are doing like that when we get the CVs, the ATM system and the the e-recruitment system give us the shortlisted one. Then after those shortlisted one will be reviewed by our HR teams. Then after we are having the test paper. Then after technical interview and the final interview. Sometimes then after we are keeping the attitude with the psychometric test. It depends with the grade, right? So there are few interviews rounds going on, right? But with the pressures, we are not much hard on that one. And so the other one is rounds and how candidates know when to apply. Normally, two ways they are doing there. I have to be frank with you. If there are a vacancy, first we look for the internal candidates, as well as we are publishing the external job portals, right? So it can be a headhunter, it can be a recruitment portal, or it can be a newspapers. We are publishing that one, so people will get. And nowadays, actually, we are keeping close touch with the universities and the career guidance units, and we are sharing our things. So either you can directly go to the company website and the career. There's a tab called career. So you can apply that one, or either you can directly call to the HR department. So don't worry about to call and search for openings. Don't wait till that publish. Normally, we want to see the people who's very not reactive, proactive. So if we see that person is very keen and interested about our company, we are giving the priority for them, right? If you want to go for it, please find the email address of the head of HR or the recruitment manager. Just shoot a CV. That will give you, because sometimes then not like the job opening, when we get that CV, sometimes you will get more time and they will spend more time on CV, and that gives you additional what you call the leverage for your CV. How often does okay, when applying for the internship, you should attach your cover letter? It's like that area. Sometimes if they are asking for internship on Sampath Group, we are not. Previously, I worked with Bandex, Mars, SEAT, and I have some overseas experience also. Internship, sometimes we are asking for the cover letter because we want to see their ambitions, where they want to develop their career, as well as we want to see their language skills, right? That's why if they ask for a cover letter, please attach it. Otherwise, it's recommended cater their requirement. අපි කියනෝනේ ඕනට ඩිය මේව කරන්න එපා කියලා cater their requirement that will be good enough. So madam, anything?
Yes, Mr. Prasad, we do have two questions from here. So one is, how do I write a strong CV if I lack experience?
Sorry, I'm not quite.
How do I write a strong CV if I lack experience?
Yes, when the audience I am having today, actually they don't have the experience. No, you remember in my slides I show two things: the experience and the freshers, or the apprentice of the internship. So don't worry about that. Initially you have to start with your personal details, then after your academic. If you're having some explosion experience on projects and other things mentioned like that, then finally you have to mention about your skills and competencies, right? Because if you are applying for a assistant manager, if you don't have the experience, don't do it, right? So when we are going for a career ladder, so please, that's why I mentioned you, please read the JD and JS, see whether you are catering that requirement. Otherwise what will happen, you are wasting your time and you are wasting your paper and wasting your money. So try to hit the bullseye. Try to cater the requirement of the particular company and try to fit for that particular job opening.
Okay, then we have another question. So it's about the ATS softwares. So how, like, any tips on how to avoid our CV getting discarded from the ATS software?
Yes, as I mentioned you, ATS software is we have in the ATF software as well as the recruitment systems, right? We when we go, if you take an example for the easy to understand, I will take the we are looking for HR manager. Then we are mentioning about the experience, number of years, like that. And when the ATS system captures the experience and the academic qualification and the work experience, right? If you are not particularly highlight those areas, then sometimes your CV may be missed through the system. And when you come to the recruitment system, normally if you have the hands-on experience, they are asking few questions before submitting your CV. That shows that actually shortlisted person from the persons who are not having that particular experience or the qualification. But when you come to the freshers, we are not going for much detail, and we are giving plenty of opportunity for freshers. So if you highlight the areas, if you cover the areas which actually JD and JS required, or the what the headhunter or the recruiter or the employee is looking for, then you are quite good enough to go in for a second interview.
Thank you. We have one more question in the chat. When selecting a suitable picture for the CV, any tips you could give for a lady? Is it better to wear a saree, or is it not a must?
Okay, you are applying for a professional job now. You are entering into the professional career. So you have to wear, showcase yourself. You are a professional. Don't attach selfies and you are having the where you have go to a picnic or your climate. Don't attach those things. It has to be very the passports photos, right? Like that that has to be very clear, that photo. And it has, if it's ladies, just recommended with a saree, right? And for gents, office attire with a tie and the full shoe, like that. Don't attach selfies and other things. And sometimes don't do too much makeups and attach that one. We know that the apps now, you can do a lot of things, but be yourself.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Prasad. Does the audience have any more questions or any doubts to clarify?
Yeah, at the interviews, they are asking about the salary expectation. What is the best answer to give? Okay, if you are a fresher, right, you have to answer like that. It's that you have to think about two things. What is your objective? What's the purpose of applying that one? Whether you want to first you want to cater the financial needs or whether you want to start your professional career, right? So you have to answer that. If you go for a yeah, internship or like that, tell that I am okay with the company salary standards, right? If they ask him for a salary, okay, though our stand is like that, what is your expectation? But you have to remember, don't underrate your skills and knowledge. Tell that, okay, mama company given no, it shows you are not competent and you are not having the professional, the competence about yourself. By throwing that question, we want to see how that person is evaluating himself, right? We want a person who's having the market demand. So if anybody asks what is your salary expectation, first thing, yes, I am agreed with the company salary standard because I want to start my career and I want to get more exposure and a hand-on experience with that one. Then I can conclude to the more to the company. And if they ask again, they ask, okay, what will be your salary expectation? But think about your basic needs, your traveling expenses, or whatever other things, and tell that. Don't tell, okay, I will agree with the 5,000 or 10,000, but you have to keep your market rate. Okay.
So there's one more question.
So, especially for ladies, they have done many fashionable things like coloring hairs. It's okay, dear. It's like that. I'm telling, uh, based on the culture of the company, you can change no. But thing is, if that particular company, that culture, as I mentioned, the symbols and the language as well as they are talking, the way of talking shows their culture. If their culture is not accepting those kind of things, coloring here and like that way, if you are selected, yes, you have to change yourself. You know that like that way, you have to respect the company culture, values, and ethics, right? So when you're applying for that one, but don't send us your CVs with like karaoke ladies. Here you are applying for a professional platform, and you have to show that you are incompetent to you are in position to take more responsibility in the corporate world and the professional world.
Okay, we do have
So
one question in the
yeah,
chat box here. So the question is, do we need to include our A-level, O-level results under the academic qualification with the grades?
no, I am telling no. Sometimes the people may ask you, because we are talking about this audience is graduate, no? But you can mention which school attend and which stream you have done your A levels and which year. That's all. Don't include too much in A levels, O levels, subject kara A levels or no, because we are looking for the person who's having the higher education, that one, because we are looking for a professional qualification and academic qualification who are having the completed their degrees, no, so basic degrees. So don't too much worry about these things, right? That's why I want to mention, you don't underrate your skills and knowledge. You have to show the highest and the latest one. Okay, if you have the MBA, go for that one, as well as the basic graduate, start with that one. If they are especially asking for A levels, O levels, please fill it.
Okay. Seems like we have no more questions in the chat box, and I haven't gotten any DMs as well.
I am not auditable, dear. You can speak bit louder.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I do not have any questions in the chat box, and I'm hoping that's same with you. So, Mr. Prasad, thank you once again for clarifying the loose ends of the audience today. And now let me invite Road Tractor Sandri Jayasinghe, the co-director for professional development of the Road Track Club of University of Colombo, Faculty of Management and Finance, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Hi, I hope I'm audible.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. As exciting of an evening it was, all good things must come to an end. Therefore, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Prasad Udugampola for making time on your busy schedule and enlightening with us your words of wisdom. I truly believe that your advice will help this set of undergraduates when following their dream careers. So thank you once again, Mr. Prasad, for being here with us today. I would also like to thank everyone who is here with us today. I hope you learned something new and gained some valuable advice that would help you in taking the first step towards your dream careers. And I look forward to seeing everyone pursue their goals and dreams by putting these steps into practice. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of today's proceedings. Have a good night and stay safe. Back to you, Saseniaki.
Thank you. Good night, all. Stay safe.
Thank you, everyone. So a slight reminder to all our participants,